hear me clearly. Success is not built in a day, it is built daily. The life you want, the future you desire, the breakthrough you've been praying for, it's not hiding from you, it's waiting on your consistency. Success is not something that happens in an instant. It is not a sudden burst of luck, nor is it the result of one massive effort made in a single moment. Success is the product of what you choose to do every single day in the small, seemingly insignificant moments that most people overlook. Every morning you wake up, every decision you make, every habit you repeat, these are the building blocks of the life you are creating. The reality is that success is built daily, not instantly, and it takes a deep understanding of consistency to grasp that truth. When you look at people who have achieved great things, you may see the highlight reels of their lives, the big wins, the awards, the wealth, or the recognition. What you don't see is the chain of days behind the curtain, the discipline they maintained when nobody was applauding, the sacrifices they made when no one was watching. Every moment of consistency was a link in the chain that brought them to where they are now. What appears overnight to the world has been years in the making in private. The beauty of daily effort is that it doesn't require you to be extraordinary in the moment. You don't have to know everything. You don't have to feel like doing it. You don't even need to see instant results. What matters is that you show up, take one more step, and add one more link to your chain. Over time, these links connect and strengthen until they form something unshakable, a structure so solid that it can carry the weight of your biggest dreams. On the other hand, inconsistency breaks that chain. Every time you give up, every time you allow excuses to control you, every time you delay your progress with procrastination, you weaken the very thing that could hold your future together. One broken link may seem harmless at the moment, but it sets off a ripple that affects your momentum. Suddenly, you lose rhythm, you lose focus, and before you know it, you're starting over again, wasting precious time and energy. Consistency is the silent force that separates those who succeed from those who remain stuck. Talent can only take you so far. Intelligence can open some doors, and opportunity can give you a platform, but without consistency, none of it lasts. It's the simple act of doing what you said you would do day after day, whether you feel like it or not, that creates true progress. It's the discipline to show up even on the days when no one is cheering, even on the days when results seem invisible. Each day you commit to your process, you're not just checking off a task, you're telling yourself that your future matters. You're telling your mind, your body, and your spirit that you are serious about building something that lasts. You are reinforcing a pattern of reliability and strength within yourself that eventually becomes impossible to ignore. The more consistent you are, the more your identity shifts. You stop seeing yourself as someone who tries and quits, and you start seeing yourself as someone who finishes what they start. The daily grind is where real transformation happens. It's where you build the habits that carry you forward. It's where you sharpen your skills. It's where you develop endurance. Greatness is not a one-time event. It is the compound interest of these daily decisions, the stacking of small wins that accumulate into something massive. Just like money multiplies with consistent investment, your actions multiply with consistent discipline. It doesn't matter if your steps feel small today. What matters is that you take them. It doesn't matter if progress feels slow right now. What matters is that you don't stop. Each link in your chain matters, because without that one link, the entire chain loses strength. Every day you succeed at following through. You prove to yourself that you are capable of more, and this proof builds confidence, clarity, and courage for the days ahead. Over time, the world begins to notice. The people around you see the difference in how you carry yourself. The results begin to speak louder than your excuses ever could, and opportunities start to open that once seemed out of reach. Not because of a single day of effort, but because of the long stretch of days where you refuse to let inconsistency steal your future. The small daily acts you once questioned become the undeniable foundation of your success. The truth is simple, but it is not easy. Success is built in private before it is ever celebrated in public. It is born in the moments when you don't want to move forward, but you do anyway. It is born in the daily repetition, in the silent victories, in the unbroken chain of effort that stretches further than you thought possible. And every day you choose consistency, you're not just doing something small, you're building something eternal. When people look at the success of others, what they often see is the visible outcome, the recognition, the wealth, the influence, and the impact. They see the end result and assume that everything must have come together overnight. They believe that maybe luck had a role, or that some people are just chosen while others are not. What they fail to realize is that the spotlight moment is only the surface, the tip of the iceberg. Beneath that success is an unseen chain of effort, persistence, and sacrifice that most people will never witness. The truth is that every achievement is built on the foundation of consistent, daily choices. Those who rise to greatness do not simply wake up one day at the top of the mountain. They climb step by step, day by day, link by link, building a chain that is strong enough to carry the weight of their destiny. Each day they choose to commit, they add another link. Each day they persevere in silence, they reinforce the chain. And that chain is what eventually holds them steady when their time to shine comes. If you were to study the lives of people who achieved lasting success, you would notice that their private disciplines were far more important than their public victories. They didn't just show up when it was convenient, they showed up when it was hard. They didn't just give effort when it was popular, they gave effort when no one was clapping. That consistency built a chain of credibility, resilience, and momentum. It gave them a track record with themselves that they could rely on when challenges came. Most people fail because they underestimate the power of the unseen days. They think missing one day doesn't matter. They think cutting corners won't hurt. They believe skipping the small, disciplined actions will not make a difference. But the truth is that each skipped day weakens the chain. It creates a crack in the foundation. It steals the momentum that took so long to build. What seems like a harmless pause becomes the very reason their dreams remain out of reach. The hidden chain of consistency is not glamorous. It's not celebrated. It's not posted on social media. It happens in the quiet moments when you choose to practice, to learn, to pray, to discipline yourself, even though no one is giving you recognition. And yet, those quiet moments are the most powerful of all. They are the places where character is formed, where skills are sharpened, and where strength is developed. The world may not see it now, but that chain is what will make the world take notice later. It is easy to desire the spotlight without enduring the process. It is easy to want the reward without walking the path. But without the invisible chain of daily consistency, no amount of talent or intelligence will be enough to carry someone to lasting success. Talent without discipline collapses. Opportunity without preparation fades. Vision without consistency dies before it is fulfilled. It is the chain that makes the difference between those who endure and those who disappear. There is a patience required in building the chain that many people are unwilling to embrace. They want fast results. They want immediate gratification. But the chain does not respond to impatience. It only responds to persistence. It grows stronger each time you choose not to give up. It gets longer each time you decide to push forward. Over weeks, months, and years, it becomes unbreakable. And when that happens, opportunities that once seemed impossible now find a pathway to you. Every day you add to the chain, you are making an investment in your future. You may not see the results right away, but just as a seed grows underground long before it breaks through the soil, your efforts are producing strength in places you cannot yet see. The chain is forming link by link, preparing you for the weight of what is coming. Skipping a day may feel small, but it is in those small decisions that your destiny is either built or broken. Consistency transforms you on the inside long before it shows on the outside. It teaches you discipline. It teaches you resilience. It teaches you to trust yourself because you know you will follow through. The chain is not just about results. It's about identity. It is about becoming the kind of person who does not quit, who does not waver, who does not let excuses dictate their future. That identity becomes your greatest strength because it remains unshakable regardless of circumstances. The chain is invisible to the world at first, but in time it becomes undeniable. Others begin to see the fruit of what you have built. They call it success, but you know it is not a single moment. It is the result of every hidden day, every private decision, every unseen sacrifice. It is the product of the chain you refuse to break. The beauty of daily effort lies in its simplicity. It doesn't demand that you perform miracles every morning or achieve monumental breakthroughs each night. It simply requires that you show up, that you remain committed, and that you do what you said you would do. This consistency, though small in the moment, compounds into something powerful over time. Every effort may feel ordinary, but when repeated faithfully, it becomes extraordinary. Many people hesitate to take consistent action because they underestimate the value of the small steps. They want to see dramatic change right away, but the reality is that lasting change often hides behind repetition. Just as a river carves a canyon, not in a single moment, but through years of steady flow, your daily actions carve out the life you are meant to live. Each repetition strengthens the groove, making it easier to keep going tomorrow. There is a patience required in this process. Success is not a quick harvest. It is a long season of sowing and nurturing. Each day you water your habits, even if you cannot see immediate results. You are cultivating something beneath the surface. The world may not notice your discipline today, but eventually it will see the fruit of your persistence. The invisible effort becomes visible in time, and that is when the true value of consistency is revealed. Daily effort also builds credibility with yourself. Each time you follow through, you reinforce the belief that you can be trusted. You stop seeing yourself as someone who starts and stops, and you begin to see yourself as someone reliable, someone disciplined, someone who keeps promises. This shift in identity is powerful because it means you no longer depend on external motivation. Your consistency becomes internal, and it drives you forward even when no one else is watching. The beauty of consistency is that it does not require perfection. Missing a step does not erase your progress, but giving up does. The key is to keep building link by link without allowing discouragement to pull you out of the process. One imperfect day does not destroy the chain as long as you pick up again the next day. What matters is not flawless execution, but relentless continuation. The strength is in refusing to quit. There is also freedom in daily effort. While some see consistency as restrictive, it is actually liberating. When you commit to a routine, when you decide in advance what must be done, you free yourself from the chaos of indecision. You no longer waste energy debating whether or not to take action, you simply act. That simplicity reduces stress, clears your mind, and creates a rhythm that carries you forward almost automatically. Daily actions are like seeds planted in the soil of time. You never know exactly when the breakthrough will appear, but you can trust that the harvest will come. Some days feel uneventful. Some days feel ordinary, but every day contributes to the process. Just as no single drop of rain causes a flood, no single effort creates success, but together they accumulate into something unstoppable. Consistency also teaches humility. It forces you to respect the process instead of demanding instant results. It reminds you that greatness is not owed to anyone. It is earned. Each day of effort grounds you, shaping not only what you achieve, but who you become in the process. It humbles you, but it also empowers you because you begin to realize that success is within your control, link by link, decision by decision. The longer you practice consistency, the more momentum you build. At first, the effort feels heavy, like pushing a boulder uphill. But over time, the momentum shifts, and what once felt impossible begins to feel natural. The habits you struggled to form become part of your identity, and the discipline that felt like a burden transforms into a lifestyle. Momentum carries you further than motivation ever could, and it all begins with daily effort. This is why the beauty of daily action cannot be underestimated. It is ordinary in the moment, but extraordinary in its accumulation. It teaches patience, builds credibility, develops resilience, and creates unstoppable momentum. Each day matters because each day is another link in the chain, another step in the journey, another investment in the future you are building. On the other hand, inconsistency is the silent destroyer of dreams. It never shows up suddenly waving a warning flag. It creeps in slowly, disguised as small compromises, tiny excuses, and little delays. At first, it doesn't feel like much. Missing one day, skipping one task, postponing one responsibility. It feels harmless, even justified. But each time you allow inconsistency to take control, you are breaking a link in the chain that was holding your future together. Every broken link weakens the structure you've been working so hard to build. What seemed solid yesterday begins to feel shaky today, not because the dream has changed, but because the foundation has been fractured. The problem with inconsistency is that it not only robs you of progress, it robs you of momentum. Momentum is the invisible energy that pushes you forward with less effort, but once you stop, regaining that momentum is always harder than keeping it. The danger of inconsistency lies in how easily it multiplies. One day of neglect turns into two turn into a week, and before you realize it, you're starting all over again. The frustration grows not because the goal is impossible, but because the start and stop cycle drains your energy and breaks your confidence. You begin to question yourself, not because you lack ability, but because inconsistency has trained you to doubt your own follow through. Inconsistency also teaches your mind and body the wrong lessons. Instead of developing strength and reliability, it conditions you to quit when things get uncomfortable. It convinces you that short-term comfort is worth more than long-term success. Over time, you become accustomed to unfinished projects, broken promises, and wasted potential, and it becomes harder to trust yourself. That is the true cost of inconsistency. It doesn't just slow you down, it erodes your belief in your ability to finish. When you break the chain, you don't just lose time, you lose trust. trust with yourself, trust with others, and trust with your future. Every time you stop short, you reinforce a pattern that says, I don't keep my commitments. That pattern becomes a barrier to success because success requires not just action, but reliability. The opportunities that could have been yours begin to pass you by, not because you weren't capable, but because inconsistency weakened your credibility. Momentum, once lost, is one of the hardest things to rebuild. Starting from scratch feels heavier than maintaining progress, and this is why many people give up altogether. They confuse the pain of restarting with the impossibility of their dream. But the truth is, the dream is still possible. What is missing is the chain of consistent effort that keeps the dream alive and moving forward. Without it, the dream feels further away with every passing day. Inconsistency thrives on excuses. It convinces you that circumstances must be perfect before you act, that you need more time, more resources, or more motivation. But waiting for perfect conditions is the trap that ensures you never move. Perfect conditions will never arrive. Progress belongs to those who act in imperfection, who move forward even when it doesn't feel convenient, who keep the chain unbroken regardless of how small the step may seem. Every time you break the chain, you make the road longer. You add more distance between where you are and where you want to be. Instead of moving steadily toward your goal, you find yourself in cycles of stopping and starting, wasting energy that could have been spent advancing. The dream is still waiting, but the delays pile up until frustration convinces you to settle for less than what you were meant to achieve. Inconsistency also damages your reputation, not just with yourself, but with others. People learn to watch your actions, not your words. If your pattern is to start enthusiastically and quit quietly, those around you begin to doubt your reliability. Opportunities that require trust leadership or endurance begin to slip away, not because you lack the skill, but because inconsistency has created doubt. Your future depends not just on what you can do, but on what people believe you will do. This is why inconsistency must be treated as the enemy. It may feel harmless in the moment, but over time, it steals more than just progress. It steals time, momentum, confidence, trust, and opportunities. Each broken link in the chain weakens the structure of your destiny, and the longer you allow it, the harder it becomes to repair. The path to everything you want is not blocked by your potential, but by the choice to remain inconsistent. Consistency is the silent force that separates those who succeed from those who remain stuck. It is not about brilliance, it is not about genius, and it is not about rare talent. It is about the ability to keep going when everything inside of you wants to stop. The world is full of intelligent people who never fulfilled their potential, not because they lacked ability, but because they lacked the discipline to stay the course. Consistency becomes the great divider, the line that separates wishful thinking from realized dreams. When you practice consistency, you are building something stronger than motivation. Motivation is temporary. It rises and falls like the tide. One day you feel inspired, the next day you don't. If your actions are tied to how motivated you feel, you will live in cycles of starting and quitting. Consistency frees you from that trap. It says, I will do what must be done, regardless of how I feel. That mindset builds results that motivation alone can never produce. The beauty of consistency is that it compounds. At first, the progress seems small and insignificant. It feels as though nothing is changing. But each action is like a deposit into an account that quietly grows over time. One day, when enough has been added, the results show up in a way that looks sudden to others, but you know it is the product of steady deposits that never stopped. What seems small today becomes powerful tomorrow simply because you did not quit. Consistency is also what makes talent valuable. Talent by itself is wasted without discipline to refine it. Many people start with natural gifts, but without consistent practice. Those gifts fade into mediocrity. Meanwhile, someone with less talent but greater consistency surpasses them. Talent may open a door, but consistency is what keeps the door from closing. It is the difference between potential and performance, between promise and fulfillment. There is also a strength that comes from doing what you said you would do. Every time you keep a commitment to yourself, you reinforce your inner confidence. You no longer doubt your ability because your track record proves you can be trusted. That confidence becomes fuel for greater action. It creates a cycle of belief and execution that builds unstoppable momentum. Consistency gives you certainty, and certainty gives you courage to pursue bigger goals. Consistency requires endurance, but it also creates endurance. The more you practice it, the stronger you become. At first, it feels heavy, like lifting weights you are not used to. But over time, your strength increases, and what once felt impossible becomes natural. That endurance not only makes you more effective, it prepares you for the inevitable challenges of life. Consistency builds resilience, and resilience ensures you cannot be easily shaken. It is not glamorous to be consistent. It does not usually come with applause or recognition in the beginning. Most of the time, no one is watching when you are putting in the daily effort. But that is exactly what makes it powerful. It teaches you to work for something greater than approval. It builds a foundation of strength that does not depend on external validation. When recognition finally comes, it is only confirming what you already know you have put in the work. Consistency also has a way of multiplying your impact. As you keep showing up, people begin to notice. They see reliability where others see excuses. They see stability where others see inconsistency. Over time, your name becomes associated with trust, and trust is the currency of influence. Doors open, relationships deepen, and opportunities flow to those who can be counted on. Consistency not only builds results, it builds reputation. The truth about consistency is that it simplifies life. It eliminates the constant debate of, should I or shouldn't I? When you are consistent, the decision is already made. You no longer waste time negotiating with yourself. That clarity creates freedom. You simply act, and the act becomes habit, and the habit becomes lifestyle. Over time, this removes stress and allows your energy to focus on progress rather than indecision. At its core, consistency is about faithfulness. It is the willingness to keep showing up even when the reward is not immediate, to keep sowing even when the harvest has not yet appeared. It is the discipline to trust the process, to believe that the daily actions matter even when they seem small. That faithfulness builds a chain of actions so strong that eventually nothing can break it. It transforms ordinary effort into extraordinary results, not because of what you did once, but because of what you chose to do over and over again. Each day you commit to your process, you are making a declaration to yourself and to your future. You are saying that your life matters enough to show up with discipline, even when no one else sees the effort. That decision may feel small, but it carries weight because it is not just about finishing a task. It is about shaping your destiny. Every single day you choose consistency, you are building strength into your character and structure into your vision. The small actions you complete today echo into the future in ways you cannot yet imagine. When you follow through with what you said you would do, you are training your mind to believe in you. Self-trust is one of the most powerful assets a person can have. Many people fail not because they lack opportunity, but because they have broken so many promises to themselves that they no longer believe their own words.